Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, beautiful people. Welcome to another episode of Life with Shenita. I am Dr. Shenita Connolly, your host, and I have with me this evening my co-host, author Andrew Snorton, extraordinaire.
Thank
So,
you. Thank
thank
you.
you, Andrew, for joining me this evening and having our wonderful guest that we'll have this evening to join us in a conversation.
Hey, first off, it's always a pleasure being on here. Many, many thanks for the work that you're doing in so many areas as a host, as an author, and I'll just say like a professional and community advocate. So I personally thank you, and I know your viewers and previous guests, current guests, future guests, hey, we are all of one accord when we say an advocate. That is, so we thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. As a matter of fact, we'll be celebrating our third year anniversary after our interview with our guest, Miss Nicole Everett, this evening. So I'm super excited to be on year three. I just can't believe it. April 16th was 3 years. I just really can't believe it, but I'm grateful to be here and have this platform to share. So with that being said, I'm going to just kind of share a little bit about the conversationalist, the title, the conversationalist. Of course, you guys know I'm always looking up information about said topics. And so I just thought this was really neat. So I did a little research and discovered that a conversationalist is one who converses a great deal or who excels in conversation. A good conversationalist is genuine in their care for others, a trait that becomes apparent in their tone of voice, their body language. In a conversation, having empathy means being an observant listener who knows to change the topic or tone of a conversation when needed. And so, our guest this evening, Miss Nicole Everett, is called or titled The Conversationalist, and her focus is on mental health, which is such a much needed topic of discussion, constant topic of discussion. And so we are so glad to have her with us this evening. Before we bring her in, I want to ask you all to please like and share the broadcast so that others will have an opportunity to listen in as well. I believe sharing is caring, and I am a sharer. So I thank you in advance for liking and sharing the broadcasts so that others will partake in this conversation with us this evening. Andrew?
Yes, you summed it up right there. Obviously, conversationalist, you think about conversation, but you know what? A great conversation is what? A sharing and exchanging of ideas, thoughts, and it's about getting better understanding. So if we do a better job of understanding where we're coming from, why we're coming from those areas, now once we have a better grasp of how you think, why you think that way, and vice versa, now we can have a better conversation, figure out where do we go from here, how do we address some of these areas of concern, and especially when it comes to mental health. While the conversation to me has definitely improved over the years, we know it still stands room for improvement. So our guest brings not only expertise, but something that I think all of us can embrace, and that's compassion for people. You can have all the knowledge, but if you don't have a genuine care and compassion for people, all that knowledge doesn't mean anything. So I know I, for one, am excited. I know you're excited. And I hope our audience, whether they're watching this live or if they replay it, hopefully they're coming in with an open mind and taking away at least one thing that they feel will help them and also in turn help somebody else who might be in need. So I know I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, me too. So we're going to not delay any longer and allow her to come in. I know I've shared her bio on Facebook, but we're going to allow her to come in and candidly introduce herself to the audience as much as she's comfortable doing, and go from there. So if you all would please join me in welcoming the conversationalist, Miss Nicole Everett. Good evening.
Good evening. Greetings. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us this evening. We're so
My,
excited to have this conversation with you.
my pleasure. And happy birthday. Happy anniversary. Congratulations on that. That is
Thank
something to
you.
definitely celebrate.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Because it is hard work.
Yes, it is.
We
It
are
is.
all three of us host shows, and we all know that. So
Indeed.
the sacrifices that we make. So thank you so much.
You are so
So
welcome.
So with that being said, Nicole,
Mhm.
you're, titled The Conversationalist. So please, let's start out by introducing yourself to the audience in whatever way that you'd like to do that.
Okay. Well, I am a daughter, a sister, a mother, a niece, a cousin, a friend. I am a Florida girl. I am a rattler. I am a sister friend. I am a lover of the Lord. I am a lover of the beach and all things summer. I
Love
love warm
it.
weather, but I love people. I love to talk to people and hear their stories and hold space for them. And one of my mantras is that we all have gifts and talents that the world is waiting on, and we should not be sitting on them, but we need to be sharing them with the world. So I consider my platform to be a space and a place for people to share their gifts and talents. And I have delved into the mental health space kind of as a result of having my show. I believe that there's no health without mental health, and everything starts with a mindset. But the first thing that we need to do is know ourselves. And so that is actually my theme for this year, know thyself. And so in all things that I'm doing, that's a common thread. And I'm encouraging everybody else to do that as well.
I love that.
Thank
You
you.
know, um, and it starts with the mind. And so if we're not in a healthy state of mind,
Hmm.
we can't move forward. And I can go back to when my husband had his heart attack June 30th, 2015, and what that was like for almost 9 months in a dark place, and God saying, wake up and live, and having to embrace that and come out of that dark space into the light and to be the light for others and show them that if I can do it, you can do it. And
Mm-hmm.
that's how all of this started. So I thank
Indeed.
you. And I constantly work on my mind.
Yes. We
Yes.
got to, because there's so much negativity coming in. So we have to fight that negativity with positive thoughts and affirmations and focus on the good, the gratitude. We need to be grateful for our lives and for, the things that we have, the people that we have. And, if we spent more time focusing on being grateful and expressing gratitude, I think the world would be a whole lot better.
Can I say an amen to that?
Amen.
Yeah, definitely.
Amen. Andrew,
Definitely.
you got an amen?
Yeah, not only that, but all of us have that moment of clarity or that moment where we knew this is the direction we need to pivot in. And yes, we know mental health, the conversation is getting better, but there's still a need for improvement. What would you say was that pivotal moment for you where you knew, you know what, not just content wise, but part of your calling, your passion, your purpose, that this is the direction you want to go in, and I want to utilize my platform to better engage, connect, and have these types of conversations?
So I think I've always wanted to use a platform for that purpose, and even though my name is in the title and my name is in the jingle, it's really not about me. It
Say,
really is about my guests. And so I'm hoping that whatever my guests have to bring, that people will benefit from that. And oftentimes that does happen. The viewers connect with my guests in some meaningful ways because what the guests are talking about is something that they need or you know have need of either that product or service, whatever it is they're providing. And so as far as the mental health space, I have a counselor's heart. I think I always have. I've reflected on my life and have can think of some moments where I could see that I was the one that people told their issues to, their problems to, but I probably got deeper involved in it when I did some shows back in 2017 on father hunger and fatherlessness. And I saw that this was like at pandemic proportions, especially in Black communities. And so from that point on, I did two shows, one that had two men on and one that had two women on, both speaking about their perspectives on it. But from that point to this, I could identify when somebody did not have a father in their lives or a positive male figure, and the impact that it made from a lack of respect for authority, some confidence issues, some sexuality issues. So, the thing that rung clear to me is that boys and girls both need a father. And sometimes that's a surrogate father, but they need that positive male energy that's nurturing, that speaks with authority, but is a disciplinarian, but loves them too. So I think that was those two shows really caused me to recognize the need for mental health, and so I connected with a local group here, actually the Big Bend, the Minority Council, the Mental Health Council, the Big Bend, excuse me. And so I've been working with that group from that time to this, as well as we seek to heighten the awareness of the need of mental health and to eliminate the stigma associated with counseling and therapy. And just trying to encourage folks to get their checkup from the neck up,
Yes.
because we, just like we go get a physical every year, we need to at least once a year go sit with a counselor and therapist and talk through some things. It's helpful to have that neutral third party
Right.
that can help you maybe identify some new solutions to some old problems.
That is so good, Nicole. I am such an advocate for mental health therapy and have been since 1989 when I came back from Fayetteville, North Carolina. My marriage ended and I moved back to Pensacola. And in 1990, my high school counselor had his own practice, and that's who did therapy for me to work through that most challenging time of my life. And so I have been an advocate for it since then.
Wow.
And I still get my checkups from the neck up.
Great.
Yeah.
So, but Nicole, tell us something that would surprise most people about you.
So I have a low-key crush on old cars, like so people probably wouldn't think that, but like an old Chevy or Malibu or those types of cars, especially those in the late 60s, early 70s that are, that have maybe are convertible, or they call them peanut butter and jelly, where you had a peanut butter inside and that right, candy apple red, like I yeah, I love those types of vehicles. So yeah, people
That is
probably
so
know
cool.
that. Yeah.
Andrew, you got something for it?
Yeah, here's, that's good to know. It's like, okay, on the weekends when we see you riding around, we shouldn't be
Right.
surprised. Especially
Right.
if it's a
It
nice
could not
sunny
be.
day. And like you said, you're a beach person, you're from the 305,
I am.
So that's all that needs to be said. I've got a question for you. And you did, to a degree answer it.
Uh-huh.
But based on what you're doing now with your platform, what insight would you say you've gained, and what insight would you want to share with people, especially when the conversation around mental health, like we said before, it's growing, but there's still growth that needs to be made?
So repeat it one more time for me, because I think I
Sure.
had a little
No,
glitch.
no problem. So the question I have for you, what insight have you gained
Mhm.
from really going knee deep into mental health counseling and related items? But what insight would you want to share with the audience?
So I would want to share the importance of self-care, the importance of coping skills,
Mm.
and dealing with, well, I call it um, peeling back the layers and dealing with the root cause. So dealing and healing. So actually, it's a peeling, a dealing, and a healing. That
I
just
love
came to
it.
that just came to me just
You need to write that down. You need
I
to write
do.
that
I'm writing it
down.
down right
Write
now.
that down.
Mhm.
Yeah, so it's a peeling, it's a dealing, and a healing, and that is so critical because there's something out there called adverse childhood
Oh
experiences.
my God, I'm just studying that in my Morehouse course. Literally just wrote a paper on it. Oh my
Yeah.
God. But go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yes, so they are called ACEs. And so there are 10
Yes.
questions, and typically everybody has at least a score of 1. But if your score is over 5, you have had some trauma. And so a number of people are walking around here with untreated, undealt with trauma.
Ooh,
And
Oh, wait. Could you pause? I'm gonna pause. Could you run that back
yes.
one more time?
Yes. One
Because
one more
that in and
time.
of itself is a word right
Yes.
there. Please run that
Yes.
back one more time.
so, again, with ACEs, adverse childhood experiences, there's a test that you can take. And some of the questions are around whether or not your parents divorced, or was there an adult that, um, was physically harming you or verbally abusive to you. And I got to pause because all my people are on here. I just text a whole bunch of people, and all
Yes.
3 of the people on YouTube have.
Yes.
So thank you, Pam. Thank you, E. Thank you, Connie, for being here. I appreciate
Yes.
it. But those adverse childhood experiences, if you score, most people score at least a 1, because something has happened. But if you score over a 5, between a 5 and 10, you've really had some trauma. And so there are a lot of people walking around here with unresolved, untreated trauma. And as a result, it informs our decision making. It
Ooh,
informs our behaviors.
Mm.
yes.
It informs our actions.
Mm.
And while we probably don't understand why somebody is cutting up or acting, what we would call a fool or cutting a donkey, it's because they got some untreated stuff.
Mm.
And
Mm.
so we really, really, really need, that's again why I encourage the counseling, why I encourage the therapy, because it will help us. It will help us develop some coping skills, because that counselor, that therapist, if they're worth their weight in gold, they're going to come up with something you need to be doing, whether that's, so just the basics, like we need to be eating healthy food, right? We need to be getting a good night's sleep, 7 to 8 hours of rest. We need to be going for walks. We need to be
Right
drinking
here.
plenty of water. And we need to have some great relationships where we can talk with people that are not going to be stressing us out, but they're not going to be yes people saying yes to everything we say. They're going to check us if we are out of order, right? And so, that's like the basic. Okay, that's the foundation. But above that, now we're talking about coping skills, which could be boundaries. It could be journaling. It could be listening to music. It could be, again, it could be going for a walk. There are a number of things.
Traveling.
It could be traveling. It could
Mhm.
be, a hot bath. So, that's part, the coping skills, that's also can be tied into self-care. And so those are also really, really, really important. Deep breathing
Mm.
is another really good one. So all of those things are tools that we need to put in our mental health and self-care toolkit and carry them with us,
Mhm.
so that when a crisis or what might appear as a crisis arises, we can use those tools to help us make it through.
Yes. I'm telling you, you are in my head and in my studies. Oh my goodness.
Thank you.
So I'm so
No.
glad that I'm so glad that you're here to share, because this topic, as Andrew and you said, and I mentioned, this is so important. Like,
It
this
is.
is life or death. When we think of people who commit
It is.
suicide,
It
they
is.
they realize that that is their only way out. We know that there are other ways out that doesn't allow you or cause you to kill yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or end someone else's life. So there are
Yeah.
so many people walking around, as you've said, that have unresolved issues that they need to face and
Yep.
deal with. Sit in the chair. We are in the stigma in the Black community, I think, has done us an injustice. We have to get over that stigma.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And to your point, it's almost like the luggage adage. Like when you go on a trip, what do? You take what you need. And
Mm-hmm.
some of us are carrying stuff that we don't need. And that speaks
Yeah.
to your point in regards to people are carrying around unresolved trauma where, like you said before, there's no shame in getting help. There's
Mm-hmm.
no shame in, even if you don't know what it looks like, you know where you're trying to go. And now that you have an idea of where you're trying to go, like you said, there are constructive things that can be done. So while it still might be a little bit bumpy, it doesn't have to result in, like you said, something that is so adverse that you can't come back from it. Like we all alluded to, when you choose to take your life, you can't come back. It's not like, let me hit the reset button. So I'm glad that you shared that and emphasized that. I think all of us through our respective platforms are like, look, there's no shame in getting help. And like you said, there are professional options, but there are some other options, like you said, a hobby, exercise.
Yeah.
There are constructive things to help you decompress. So I'm glad you are bringing out all the tools in the toolbox out here tonight. Seriously.
Yes,
Thank
she
you.
is.
Yeah, I appreciate that. No, it's important. We have got to be our brothers and sisters keepers. I think we've kind of gotten away from that to some extent, but it's important. We really are all we got. And we really need some more empathy in the world and some more compassion. And so again, I definitely am a person that holds space for people and listen to their stories and their issues and try to, sometimes it's not even about coming up with a solution, but sometimes people just need to be heard.
Right.
They need to hear themselves say whatever it is that's going on with them, because they probably have the answers a lot of times. But sometimes they just need a sounding board. So I'm happy to be that. And again, I love people, and I think that we're gonna be all right. But we just gotta, get out of our own way, get out of our heads, and again, be grateful for the things that we have and the people that we have, and be our best selves. Like, work, operate and function in your passion, your purpose. And to the extent that you don't know what that is, well, think back to when you was a child, and those things that brought you joy. Because a lot of times that's where you're going to find your passion, is in those things that brought you joy to do and that you would do without being paid for. Mhm.
That is some good stuff. I think about my population that I serve are
Mhm.
widows and widowers, right? And so about a week or so ago, I reached out to a 33-year-old wife, mother, who lost her 35-year-old husband.
Mhm.
Suddenly, he was a doctor, I think, to a heart attack. And I didn't know her, but I knew someone that knew the family. And I found her on Facebook. And I do this often because that is just the population that I serve. And I sent her a message, and just to let her know that I am here, because I can only imagine what that feels like to have small children and that to happen. And you and your husband just came off of a trip from Hawaii the
Yeah.
month before, which was February, and he passed away before the end of March. And so when you think of those situations, and I said to her, I am here for you whenever you want to talk, you want to
That's great.
scream, you want to curse, you want
Mhm.
to shout. You
Yeah.
just want me to hear you say all the things that you never will feel comfortable saying to someone else who doesn't understand what you just went through.
Mhm.
And all she could send me back was a heart.
Yeah.
And I understood that. And so every day I send, or every few days, I send her a message to let her know that somebody's out here to support you when you're ready to receive it in a vocal manner. And it's okay. If it takes 6 months or 6 weeks, it's okay.
It is. No, that's great. You know, presence is a gift. And to be present for somebody, that is sometimes one of the best gifts that you can give someone.
Yeah.
The other thing I just want to say briefly is that I don't think we spend enough time grieving. Grief is not necessarily associated with those who are deceased, but it's loss. We can experience loss of relationship, whether that's a
Woo.
divorce or
Boy.
not being friends anymore, loss of a job or position, loss of hopes and dreams
Woo.
and anticipations. But so that stuff needs to be grieved, because if
Yes,
not, we hold it in. And listen, our body keeps the score.
it
Okay.
does.
Which turns into stress, which turns into all
Cancer.
sorts, right? Cancer, high blood pressure, heart attack, all of that. So
Mm.
we have got to relieve that grief, that, it's okay. I think we've been taught, hush that fuss, stop crying,
Right.
children or what have you. And so now we have internalized the grief and not given our space, or given ourselves space to grieve. And
Mhm.
so I just want to encourage folks to grieve. It's
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Nicole, I'm so glad you mentioned that, because I'm not still grieving in a sense that I'm sad, but I still take the time to acknowledge the wonderful husband that God blessed me with and the memories that we have, right?
Mhm.
And so I share them from time to time. You'll see me share bits and pieces, and it helps me with my coping. And I understand that.
That's
And,
good.
and other people may say, again, well, you got that right to say again. Just like I
Well,
have that right
you're
to
right.
share what helps me through my challenging moments, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I agree with you.
Indeed. Indeed.
Cope, do what's necessary as you're going through your grieving process.
Absolutely.
Talk it through, share it,
Mm-hmm.
write it,
Yeah.
sing
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. All of that.
Yes.
And I would say this: take the time you need. And the time you need is going to look different for each and every person. There's not a one size fits all if you've had this type of experience. Well, no. The short and sweet, you take the time you need. And like you were saying, identify the formal or informal things you can put in place to help you get through it and help you get the perspective you need so you can pause and then keep going.
Mm-hmm. Acknowledging, yes,
Yeah.
acknowledging that you even need to address your mental health, accepting that you need to accept
Mm-hmm.
your mental health is just a beautiful thing. And so you'll free yourself. Because I think about what was the guy name that committed suicide in the hotel? I can't remember. The dancer.
Oh, Twitch.
Twitch. I think about that often.
DJ.
So in his mind, he had to contemplate that maybe for a period of time, or whatever the case was, based on what we heard. If he thought about it, planned it out, or what have you, um, I would think that somebody, if he had said something to somebody, would have tried to help him work through whatever in his head was going on, because it starts in the mind.
It does. Everything starts in the
Starts
mind.
in the mind.
Yeah.
So,
Everything starts in
you
the
know,
mind.
go
I was
ahead.
about to say, it's like you both alluded to. What you put in here is going to eventually come out in some way, shape, or form. And like you were sharing earlier, just like we worry about our physical health, like our diet and our fitness and things along those lines, we underestimate, like you say before, the importance of your mental fitness.
Yeah.
We really do. And to the points that were made, when you're not mentally fit, we talk about uphill battles. It can be almost like climbing up a mountain range.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like you said, to those examples and other examples, we want to do what we can to be as proactive as possible to let people know, we've all heard this. It's okay not to be okay. There's no shame in asking for help. There's
Right.
no shame in going to counseling. There's no shame in looking at constructive hobbies or ways to decompress that are
Mhm.
going to help you to regroup and rebuild versus tear you apart.
Yes, indeed.
Absolutely. Indeed.
Absolutely. And
Indeed.
Nicole, you know, is if you had an opportunity right now, and you do have that opportunity to share with the listeners, whether it's today in the live or in a replay, as Andrew said earlier, what advice, in addition to what we've shared thus far, would you say in making an appeal to them?
I'm going to go with know thyself. Again, that's my focus this year. That is going to require you to sit with yourself. And so thoughts of your past will come up. Some of those thoughts will not be pleasant. You may have to cry. It may be painful. But sit with yourself, know thyself. And so, people talk about doing the work. And so I just like to say, with doing the work, that that includes you being honest about what has happened in your past and being factual about what's happening in your past, not opinion, but what factually happened. And then identifying those things that maybe some coping skills that you developed during maybe those traumatic experiences, and maybe they served you well at the time, but maybe they're not serving you well anymore. So do away with those things that are no longer serving you well and adapt some new skills, some new techniques, some new tools that you can use to help you along the way.
That,
So,
oh,
and so to the extent that you may need help with that, because again, it's not easy work. Um, my next suggestion would be to get with a counselor, get with a therapist. There are several sites online. Psychology Today is a very popular one, and they have all of the counselors. You can put in whatever city and state you're in. You can even choose, what type of cultural background you want your counselor to have. So there are a lot of options there. There are several municipalities that may offer free counseling, especially post COVID or in this COVID kind of state that we have been in. I know here in the city of Tallahassee, the city actually offers free counseling to city residents. So check with your local municipality or health department to see if there are some free services are available, if cost is a barrier to entry. Check with your employer because they may have an employee assistance program where you can receive some free counseling sessions. And then also check with your insurance company because they probably have some clinicians that they've partnered with as providers, and they will allow you to have counseling sessions with them. So those would be like my two big takeaways is know thyself and then connect with a counselor.
and to the point of the counselor and the employee opportunity, back
Mhm,
in 2021, well, December 2020, I decided to take advantage of my job's, services for
mhm,
therapy. And so January 2021, I went into my first sessions with a counselor. And believe it or not, it was such therapy for me
mhm,
because I had not done a one-on-one therapy session since my husband died, although I had done group grief share therapy
mhm,
and all of
mhm,
that, but not one-on-one. And
mm,
I said to myself, you owe it to yourself, you owe it to your family, you owe it to your friends to get yourself holistically well. And
mhm,
so my brother passed away in the middle of those
mm.
sessions or
Wow.
towards the end of those sessions. And it
Mhm,
was it was the best decision that I could have made to be enter into that session because that therapist truly helped me through post my brother passing.
that's great.
You know what I mean? Because it was
Mhm,
so traumatic and unexpected. Again, another hard situation to deal with in terms of people who you love and who was near and dear to you. So we
mm,
have to make sure, as you say, know yourself, do what's necessary for you to be whole. It's just like losing weight and becoming healthier. We have to make a decision and we have to do the work. So
indeed.
we must be willing to do what's necessary to see um, the glory on the other side of our decision.
Absolutely.
Anything else you want to share before we let you go and with the audience, Nicole?
Real quick, so I got to give a shout out to my sister Shayla, who's on here, as well as
Okay.
my assistant Shantae, who's on here as well. So thank y'all for being on here.
Yes. And please share how they can watch your broadcast, where, when, how, all of that
Sure.
good stuff.
Absolutely. So I am live on Mondays and Wednesdays at 8:30 p.m. Monday is Mindset Monday. Wednesday is Wellness Wednesday, and that's 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And I'm on for about an hour on Conversations with Nicole, YouTube, Facebook, as well as on the Greater Works Network on Roku TV. With the Roku, you'll have to add Greater Works as a channel option. And once you do that, every time you'll turn on your Roku, we'll be there. But I'm live on those three platforms Monday and Wednesday. And then my regular show, which I'm in season 12, comes out on Fridays. And so we're in the sixth week of 10 episodes. And so those are all community based shows that have been pre recorded, and it focuses primarily on folks here in the Tallahassee area. But those come on at 7 a.m. on the Conversations with Nicole YouTube, and then again on Roku TV on Greater Works Network. So I invite your viewers and anybody watching the replay to subscribe to the YouTube channel, subscribing and supporting. And we need all the support we can get. And I know Dr. Shenita and Andrew, you all are both very well aware of that. And
Yes.
so I would appreciate any and all views and interaction. I'm really big on interaction because I like, again, engaging in conversation. So
Yes.
join
And
us.
yes, social media is absolutely wonderful, and that's how I came across you. And your show was so engaging, and I started watching, and said, "Wow, I got to meet her," and the rest is history. But
Yeah,
I'm so glad, and so I know you want to give a shout out to the Rattlers.
of course.
Woo!
Yes,
Hey,
I do. I do. And thank you, Dr. Shanita, for having me on. I tell you, like you said, social media is a wonderful thing. It does allow you to connect globally. And when I say globally, I mean globally, because I have had a clinician on from India that I met on Instagram. And
Yeah.
so, it's a great thing. But I'm so just blessed to have the opportunity to be here with you on your show and to meet my brother now, Andrew,
Yeah.
who
thank you. Thank you.
just seems like a wonderful spirit. So,
Yes.
let's just keep
Thank you.
doing these greater works and,
Yes. Yes.
serving the people.
Yes. And I look forward to us collaborating on something one day bigger, my
I would
little
love that.
circle.
I would
And
love that.
yeah, and so I would love that. And so I think God has blessed me with some great people like you all and so many others. And so I try to, you know, horn in on those relationships and just help develop them more. So
Absolutely.
I appreciate you.
No
Shout
problem.
out to you again for the
Thank
greater works that you're doing.
Thank
Andrew,
you
you want
so
to
much.
share any last words for her before she
Hey,
leaves?
all I'm saying is thank you for taking and making the time. Seriously, with the work you're doing, it is, like I said from the jump, it's part of your passion, it's part of your purpose.
It is.
And even if this is the first time people got a chance to see you, they definitely know that it doesn't need to be the last time. And just thank you just being a good steward. I mean, when you just sum it up, thank you for being a good steward and letting people know stewardship is not sedentary,
No,
regardless if it's in person, virtual, or a combination of it. Stewardship is not sedentary, and you are definitely being a good steward.
Yes.
you. Thank you. Give
Yes.
thanks. I really do give thanks to God for this labor of love. Not
Yes.
anything that I imagined that I would be doing, but I'm so glad that I am. So
Me
thank
too.
you.
Thank you so much. And I'm sure, Andrew will follow up with you as well. He has a
Okay.
talk show and he does some
Definitely.
great stuff. And I could see some collaborations with you all as well. So
Nice. I would like
we'll
that.
be in touch and we thank
Okay.
you again.
My pleasure.
Thank you, dear.
All
Have a
right.
good one.
You too.
All right, take good care.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Was that not awesome?
I tell you what, it's kind of like we were saying before we came on. Even though we're operating in our own spaces, you can still take time to support what people are doing. And all of us to varying degrees, whether it's programs we've done, show wise, what we've written, things along those lines. We use our platforms to talk about, a wide range of topics, and mental health has been something that you've discussed before, that I've discussed before. And like I said earlier, it's great to have more of these conversations because we see how needed and necessary they are. There's still more that needs to be done.
Yes.
But the fact that maybe 5 years ago, 10 years ago, this conversation might not have happened. And now people are like, wait a minute, we might not know exactly what to do, but we definitely have to do some things differently, and not talking about it, not having, those discussions, not pointing out based on what we know, here are things that we can do. These are resources we can provide access to, but let's continue to delve into this so we can learn more. If we learn more, we do more. If we do more, that's more people that we can help empower.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. With that being said, we're going to celebrate a little bit. And so we have a few special guests that are going to join us that have been on this journey with Life with Shenita, like yourself. And, it's been a journey for 3 years. It's not been the easiest journey for 3 years, but it has definitely been worth every minute to put together a show and to reach out to someone and to pray about direction and to keep going when I didn't want to keep going. Because I think about the benefit of what I've gone through and what I have to share and how it can bless other people. So Life with Shenita started with an ultimate goal, as it says right there, to help people overcome life's challenges and to encourage them to live a vibrant life, because life sometimes can be pretty challenging. And so even in the challenges, I want to be a inspiration to people to keep moving, keep going, keep glowing, and keep growing through this thing called life. So we have a few friends. We're going to invite them in. And one is Dr. Lisa from my hometown, who is also a therapist, and Wendell, who has also been a co-host many times on the show. So we're going to allow them in. And a few others will join us. And we're just going to kind of allow them to come in. Hey, 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 hey.
All right,
Good
how you
evening.
doing?
Hello, how are you?
Well, how are you all?
I'm well.
Well, I am so glad that you guys took some time out to come and just kind of, join us for the last portion of the show in celebration of this 3-year journey. You guys have been instrumental in many ways. You stepped in the gap for me. You've supported me. You've encouraged me. And I just couldn't think of any better people to be a part of this than those who have been in the trenches with me. So Dr. Lisa, Wendell, Andrew, you guys are the VIPs this evening. You know what I mean? We have to recognize things as they are. Very important people in my life, right? You have to give people their flowers while they can enjoy them.
Wow.
So I say thank you to you all for being the wonderful people that you are individually.
I would like to, that is just awesome. I would like to say hello to Mr. Andrew. I remember him at Status Network. So
Yes,
yes.
Yes.
It's really nice when I was in back and I could see him talking, but I really thank you for allowing me to be part of your new journey of living. We were brought back together after so many years. When I first moved to Georgia, I met you, and it was funny how you did not recall that. And as I've moved and relocated, that was one of the things I put my hand on, one of the lesson plans when you were operating youth under construction that you asked me to do. I was livid. It's in my office in a folder. I intended to have it here.
Wow.
Wow, this is really something when you go back and look. And that was like maybe, I think in 2006. So I was
Yep.
living maybe in Fayetteville at the time in Georgia.
Yep. And I started my program in 2003. There's your beautiful cousin. I started my summer camp in 2003 and it ended in 2010 maybe. So 2006 was the summer we had a grant. Everybody went free. Jennifer, weren't you a part of that 2006 year?
Mhm.
It was the best summer camp ever and the best time. And so I didn't put two and two together. That is so ironic. But I'm glad you did.
Yeah, that is, and then once we reconnected when I started with Robin co-hosting the Be Positive show, and you was often a fill-in for us or surprise guest, or you was hanging out. So
Yep.
I really thank you for the times you stood in the gap for us as well.
That's what we do. We have each other's back. So I truly appreciate that. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And ladies are always first. So Jennifer is both Jennifer and Dr. Lisa are from Pensacola, Florida. They happen to be cousins. I grew up with Jennifer 2 doors down from her. And so here we are in Atlanta together. So Jennifer, welcome and thank you for jumping on. I know you had to work late, but thank you for jumping on. Thank you for standing in the gap for me. Thank you for the supporting and encouraging. I'm so glad that you could be here this evening. As I told them, you guys are the VIPs because when people are doing this work, they need people to hold them up. They need people to encourage them. And so I don't take that for granted at all. So thank you for being the ladder holder for me many times, encourager. And we're celebrating tonight. So I'm going to open the floor and let you share.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm so happy to be here. Thank you, Shenita, for inviting me. I said I'm late, but I'm coming to pop on anyway. And I want to say I am happy. I'm so thankful, first of all, for you with this pod you have. It's so awesome. I love it. You have some really good topics, and you are touching people's lives and helping people doing what God has for you to do. And I am glad to be a part of it. She'll call me, and I'll say, "Oh my gosh, Shenita."
That's funny.
Oh my gosh. She had her summer camp as well. I remember walking up. I'm going to say this little part. You know how, what is that where the Atlanta beach they say it is?
Yeah, Atlanta Beach over here.
Remember we used to have to walk there?
Yes, Clayton County
kids.
International Park.
From the camp. Man, I lost so much weight that summer. Walking on that road, it was so hot, but I'm like, okay, I got something from this as well. I lost a few pounds.
Right,
So
exactly. So it was a benefit for everybody.
It was a benefit, a win-win.
Yes, so many memories. And so I am just grateful to just walk in. As many times I wanted to say, I'm out, I'm done, I'm tired, which is one reason why I scaled back from every week to twice a month. Because I needed to regain some composure in my life this year. And so it's been interesting, but it has been good that I have a little more time than every week, having a show every week. So I'm enjoying that part. So thank you. Wendell, the other famous co-host and host extraordinaire.
Life with Shenita is the show. She 3 years in, so if you want to grow, tune into the podcast wherever she'll be and set your mind totally free.
Hello.
That's the poet right there. Let's get a snap, snap, snap. Yes, indeed. I love it. Thank you. If anybody needs a poem, you know who to call.
Yeah.
That's the man right there.
But I just enjoy you. I enjoy since we first met on August 22nd, 2018. at St. James Live, where you're doing work with WCLK with Current Sims.
Yep.
That's how specific you make an impression on people. So don't take that for granted. Congratulations on 3 years. I'm glad I was a part of it. And 3 times 10 is 30. So I look forward to being on your 30th anniversary show with all of these great and wonderful and intelligent and handsome people.
Yes.
Thank you.
And
Because
for those
we'll
who
be
don't-
aging gracefully. We'll be
Yeah.
aging gracefully.
And speaking of aging, for the men there, I'm a spokesmodel for prostate cancer awareness, urging all men to get checked. My target audience is Black men and the people who love them, and getting the word out and eliminate a lot of myths, but also having fun. My podcast launch is called Prostate Cancer and Fun. 7:30, 8 o'clock every Monday on Intermix Radio. Stay tuned. We're going to make a difference. We're going to impact literally people's lives. Shenita's done that already with all of the healthcare shows, the mental health, and all of that stuff.
Mhm.
And it's just amazing, you know, the podcast that Shenita put out in these 3 years and the impact that she's made on people's lives that she's never met before. So those times when you feel like you're failing, when you feel like you want to quit, call me. I'll make you laugh, and we'll get up and we'll keep it moving.
Yes,
Congratulations.
thank you. You have definitely helped me through some rough moments, and I'm grateful. You know, moments when I just was frustrated. You've encouraged me to keep moving and keep going when I wanted to give up. So I just thank you, and I thank you for the platform. Prostate cancer means so much to me. You being a prostate cancer survivor, and my brother not making it.
Twice, 2 times.
Right. Yes. And so my brother had surgery right after your surgery. You made it, he didn't. And so I just appreciate you and Dr.
Charlie.
Yes, Dr. Charlie, and all the other men that have been on the platform to talk about prostate cancer.
Bernard.
Of
And
yes,
the other Charlie.
Getting your prostate checked, please. And thank you.
The sensitive subject I'll have you laughing about.
Yes. So I want to give Dr. Lisa an opportunity to share how people can watch her. And I want to give Andrew an opportunity to share how people can check him out also. And Jennifer, I know you want to give a shout out to your students and your wonderful family and all that good stuff. Because Jennifer is an educator. She's a good one too.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Thank you.
We can't hear you. Are you on
Dr.
mute?
Lisa has just recently, well, a year ago, relocated back to the Gulf Coast. So I've kind of been on hiatus, being wife this season, enjoyed the retirement life, but it has been a different season coming back near home for after 20 years. We moved to West Mobile. We closed on a home February 27th after a year on our 27th year anniversary.
Congratulations.
So yes, so it's been a whirlwind. Didn't think I would be in Mobile, but work is to be done here in this whole Gulf Coast quarter in terms of mental health. So I felt this would be one of the better places. Mr. Hughes has always wanted to retire back near the beach, where he has a love for. He's retired Navy. I am the author of 2 books, Suicide, It Happens in Black Families Too, and then Look at Me Now. Look at Me Now is a 20-story compilation collaboration project with other authors, how we persevered during COVID. It was very interesting when I was asked to join the project. Didn't think it would go well because I too was experiencing so many things, but it was a great read from seeing so many different people's perspective, really professionals, how mentally we were in a space during that time as well. Suicide happens in Black families too, of course, is part of my passion project, and that's what I would call this piece. It is the beginning of other projects. The one that's now currently in the work is Walking Through the Darkness While Seeing the Light. And as Black women, we mask so much, Black people, period. So I have been on this movement, I call it, and now the movement has started. You're having more famous people talk briefly about bouts of suicide. I want to talk to the everyday real person, you and me. So for us, it's real. It does happen in Black families. It happened in my family twice. My girl's biological father committed suicide in '99. My husband's youngest brother committed suicide. I think it was 2017 or 18. And we were on a suicide watch with the youngest daughter for quite a few years while she was going through some mental health issues. So it's always been a passion of mine, mental health, growing up with so many secrets in the Black communities, secrets that parents and grandparents took to the graves, but it's kept us bound, being mostly in church all of our lives and not having a voice because the church, we don't talk about that type of thing. That's something demonic, but mental health is real. And so with that being said, I'm just now starting to tap in. I'm at the bright spot. I joined Mount Hebron Baptist Church here in Mobile, and they've been gracious to give me a spot there at the Bright Spot Center where I'm there Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, every other Monday, doing one-on-one individual sessions with different women. I did a 40-day fast, fasting to free your mind. So we did that where I offered 3 free services, and then they paid for 9 sessions because I locked you in for 12. And just the things from ages in their early 20s to 70-year-old women, coming forth with stuff, stuff that they just held on to for years. So as I heard Brother Andrew at the close of the first segment, it's here. The movement is now, and it does start with us. All of us right here. I come to Atlanta. You all come to Alabama. We go to Tallahassee, and we pool the people. We talk about it in our own communities. I work with all people, but I work primarily with Black women because I am a Black woman, and I do understand the depths of the secrets and keeping things so close that we think we're protecting, but it's really only keeping you so bound where some of them are just stagnant. And so the movement for spreading awareness in the community, giving them support, educating them about mental health. It's not just a poor person's thing, it's not a white person's thing, it's a people thing. And so now this season, we've just got to do more.
Yes.
Dr. Lisa, how do you overcome the stigma and the taboo-ness of mental health?
Hold that thought right quick, Wendell, so that I can get to Andrew because Andrew is going to have to drop off.
Yeah, I'm actually getting
right.
paged for my next interview.
Right.
But let me just go ahead and say this to everybody that's on here. Pause and keep going with the great work that you're doing. Real briefly, for those of you in the Birmingham, Alabama area, I ask that you join me this Saturday from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. as part of the Behind the Ink Book Festival. I'm one of the participating authors. That'll be at the Harbert Center. And of course, to stay connected with me to find out about the 4 books I've done, the 5 audio books I've done, the coffee collaboration, and more, to keep it simple. Instagram is probably the easiest way. So if you add me at Author A. Snorton, you can find out about that and click on the link in the bio so you'll catch up on all the press and media, different interviews, including the interview I was blessed to be on earlier today on ABC 3340 in Birmingham on Talk of Alabama. So that's posted, and I'll have the press and media updated on that. So I know I hate to leave, but I got to go in about a minute. But to everybody out here, to everybody that has been a host, been a guest, continued success, blessings, well wishes, all that, and then some. Your voices are needed, your work is needed, your presence is needed, and do not underestimate the power of your platform. Know that you have one, and when you use it accordingly, and when your body, heart, mind, soul, and spirit are all of one accord, there are great things that can happen. So on that note, I'm going to excuse myself. Continued blessings, well wishes to everybody watching and being a part of tonight.
Take care, Andrew.
Thank you, Andrew. Before you leave, real quick, do you have a moment to share your tutoring business.
Sure,
Can
real quick.
Can you give them the website?
Sure. The easiest way to find out is going to be on the website, acenortonccs.com. Again, acenortonccs.com. Find out all about the education services, press and media services, as well as all the writing that I mentioned previously. So thank you all so much. Again, continued blessings to all.
Thank you, Andrew. Yes, so Andrew also tutors and prepares people for the ACT, the SAT, etc. So that's a great resource as well. So he's an educator too, Jennifer.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So Jennifer, I know you want to give a shout out to your family and your sisters and whomever else before Wendell asked that last question of Lisa.
Okay. Well, I want to first of all, I want to say, hey, cousin.
Hi, cousin.
I'm proud of you.
I am so well. It is so great to see you. We don't see each other often. And when I saw you, I said, oh, this is so great, because I reached out to Katrina now that I'm here in the area to see what services I can provide to her young lady. So I'm looking forward to doing lunch with her and the collaboration.
Oh, that's awesome. Awesome. First, I want to shout out to Mar Elementary.
Yes. Woohoo!
So let me tell you what I've asked the Lord to have me, or what should I do to get the kids prepared for this GMAS, okay? That's coming up. And I started at our school, and it has ran like wildfire with the students. We started a writer's cafe.
I love it.
So we sit and they do their writing. I give them a topic, and it's GMAS connected. It is just like they would see what they're going to see on the GMAS. Like, you know, I've asked him to give me topics and a setup where when they get into the GMAS, it's intentional, and that they are able to, you know, sit there with confidence and say, we've done this. So I started this, and I have 2 teachers that have become a part of it too. And it is going like, I'm like, my God, thank you.
That you're
Kids that don't want to write are writing now. And, you know, like we started this one where it's called A Cottage. And this little boy today, like, it just touched my heart. He said, Miss Taylor, I'm finished my story. So tomorrow, you know, I'll go in and I go into their classes, and I tried. Sometimes it's so busy, but I try to make sure if I say I'm coming to your class and sit and critique your writing and let's sit and let's see how we can fix some stuff. They are loving this. From 3rd through 5th grade, I started with right now. And when I say they want to be a part of the Writers Cafe, they want to come in and they have to stand, they dress nice this particular day. And I'm thankful we have a new administration team, and they are really on board with it. The kids this particular, they don't have to wear uniforms, they can dress nice. I said, wear your church best.
Yes.
And they'll come in, this one little Asian boy, he said, Miss Taylor, I'm wearing a suit. I said, oh, way to go, Ryan. Way to go, shout, you know. So he came in his suit.
I love it.
This one little boy, another little boy, he came in his church hat, but he was dressed so nice. So they taking it really serious. They know how important it is with the writing. And the first part of the test is writing. So we've been going in since December of 22. So they should be confident with writing.
They're going to be prepared.
Yes.
And I went in and did my research with how GMAS, the expectations, what they will see, because you can give them a topic and say, write a story on this. Okay, but that's not how the GMAS is set up.
Yeah.
They give you a topic, they give you a passage, and they'll say, you know, they'll change it to, hey, change the ending, or in the perspective of another character in the story. And, you know, and those are the top, how we've been doing it. Told them how this checklist worked on the GMAS. We've been talking about this, so I'm so excited, and I cannot wait to see their outcome.
The testing begins. When does the testing begin?
It started May 1st.
May 1st.
First, we start the test, and we've been doing our rallies, and since we came back from spring break, so May 10th through the 28th, I think, which is the end of the April, we've been doing something every day to rile them up for it. So everything is, I'm excited, and I thank the Lord for giving me this, and it's just been running with the kids that don't even or have not ever wrote a story. They're writing now.
I love it.
Wow.
And that could be such a trend for the county. I can
Mhm.
see that
Yeah.
other schools will take that and run with it. So I'm glad that you're setting the tone for writing, for their passion to love writing.
Mhm.
Yeah, we set it. Hey, it's set up where they, like I said again, they come in dressed to the nines.
I love it.
And that is so
Yeah,
awesome.
food.
Because my whole time that I taught special ed, that was one of the things. I was a 9th grade language arts instructor there in Clayton County at Morrow High. And
Yes.
so that was one of the main things of getting them to write. So to hear you talk about, you started the writing cafe, and on Friday we did differentiated instruction, which
Yes.
was chat and chew, and we would allow them to pick a topic. They would maybe write, but we were more into allowing them to speak. So you're with two skills
Yeah.
in one. So
I love
yes,
it.
I'm like Shenita. Let's pray that Clayton County picks that up, and
Yeah.
yes, because let's
be a
do the work.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
And look, we have another special guest that's joined us who has also been a co-host during these 3 years. He's sitting in Birmingham. Andrew is in Birmingham too. He's a postmaster. Can you come off mute, Mr. Arthur Bowen, and
Hello,
talk to the
hello.
people?
How's everyone doing?
We're good. How are you?
Good. So I'm actually still in Montgomery. We had Omega Day at the Capitol today, so we had
Oh,
the opportunity
okay.
to go see the House and the Senate, and they come
Awesome.
talk to us about some Medicare expansion plans, just stuff we had questions about,
Okay.
and had the opportunity to go observe the things that they were doing.
Awesome. So, we're here celebrating, and I really, as I said to everyone else, you guys have been VIPs in my life, been standing in the gap for me when I needed you, and so I just want to thank you as we celebrate 3 years for saying yes when I needed help, when I needed you. Thank you.
Oh, you're quite welcome. I was
Yes.
talking to two of my fraternity brothers who were in here with me, and I was like, man, it's been 3 years already.
I can't
And
believe it.
just talking about how everything got started with Is Your House in Order, the whole Life with Shenita movement, as I call it. You know, the
It
life
started with
after
you
the
on your show.
Right. It started on our show, and it became a part 1, part 2, part 3 to everything.
Yes, I'm so
Awesome.
grateful.
But it shows how much is needed, because 3 years later, we're still reinventing ourselves and still talking about different facets of it. So that's awesome.
Yes, I'm just grateful, so grateful. And I know it's after 8, but I also wanted to say, and Andrew meant to say this as well, and he forgot, but I am hosting my very first jazz concert at Spivey Hall on Clayton State University campus, July 23rd, a Sunday evening. And when I tell you all, I am just like, I was looking at the tickets, the seating today, and the tickets are selling. And the artists that are coming, I'm just so humbly grateful to step into this new level of faith, and people are supporting it. So I hope that I'll see each of you there, July 23rd. Would it be an evening to dress up elegantly and listen to some amazing artists that will be a part of the show. Kim Scott from Birmingham is our headliner, and D. Lucas and Brooke Alford. So amazing jazz, smooth jazz artists. So I'm grateful for that opportunity. And look, the Colonel has joined us.
Yes, I see Colonel Charlie James is in.
Yes.
Real quick, you said Kim Scott is the headliner. My fraternity brother who just left, that's her uncle.
Get
And
out.
he's always trying to promote, like, man, come on, Kim is performing at such and such.
Yes.
She's at Uptown Jazz. She's at
I
this.
bet
She's
you I know who it is. It's his wife, Gilda.
Gilda, yep, it's
And let
Bobby.
me tell you how ironic all this is. So me and Winston used to go to the Seabreeze Jazz Festival every year, right?
Yep.
And one year we met Gilda and her husband because we sat next to them. And we exchanged numbers, and we would always see them whenever we would go to the jazz festival. And fast forward, last year I went to Pensacola to the jazz festival in Pensacola, and I accidentally, well, it had to be purposely, worked the table where all the artists were selling their CDs, helping out a friend because she needed help. So Kim was on the lineup that day, and I got to meet Kim and her husband. So that's how we met. And Gilda was at the table. I'm like, hey, you know Kim? She was like, that's my niece. I'm like, you're kidding me.
Yes. He
Small
literally
Small world.
he
Small
just
world.
left. He said, AB, you gonna be good driving back to Birmingham? I said, yeah. So he left me and my brother who crossed in 1978.
Yes.
We were visiting him. He just left, walked out the room, and I was
I
like,
love it.
he
I
said,
just talked to Gilda a few days ago, so I'm truly
Yep.
excited. I know Birmingham is going to show up because they show
Right.
up for her stuff.
right,
So they'll
right.
be in the ATL in July. But Colonel James, we're going to let you share your sentiments.
It is so good to be on. I have been busy all day, and why I'm late, and I'm still doing some work, so I'm not going to be able to stay. But I could not let this occasion go by without getting on and saying how proud of you I am, of the work that you are doing, have done, and we've been sort of on this journey since it began. And say is that you are amazing. And again, I just want to say how much I appreciate and all that you do.
Thank you.
And you were talking about the Jazz Festival. My wife and I will definitely be on board.
Yes. I appreciate y'all more than you know. Thank you for journeying with me from before Winston passed. We've been on this journey together many years, and just to have you guys continually has been a blessing.
Yes, you have been a blessing to us, and hopefully, again, we have been a blessing to you.
Yes, you have.
And in fact, you are family. Your family is our family. And we look forward to working with you on and on into the future.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah.
And-
Hey,
and,
Charlie.
Yes.
This is Wendell, man. We did some prostate cancer awareness.
Oh, yeah.
Like with Shenita. I want to let you know, man, I've launched my podcast. It's called Prostate Cancer and Fun, FUN. One thing to overcome stigmas and all that is you surround a fun environment with people. And I want you to be on my show. I've got Bernard on board also. I haven't talked to Dr. Charlie in Louisiana yet, but all of the Fantastic Four I want to get on our program on my podcast again and hear this message that Dr. C has put out for everybody and the same unity and love and growth that we're having as a family.
You all you have to do is let me know time, place. I will, if nothing else is going on, I will be there.
3 o'clock in the morning on the North Pole.
I'll be there.
All right. My kind of man. My kind of man.
Shenita,
yes.
Mr. Charlie James, he probably don't remember me, but he has been coming to Maury Elementary.
Yes, yes.
Because our church, I think our church
adopted our school.
Yes. Yes.
He read his book.
Yes.
Yeah,
it was awesome.
I remember you. Yeah.
Yes.
That was a good day, and you had a good class too.
Yes, thank you.
And Charlie, Jennifer and I grew up together, 2 houses from each other.
See how small world.
Yes. And I want to say, Jennifer, is your mother, was she from Birmingham?
No.
Okay, not Birmingham.
No.
But you have family in Birmingham.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes, a lot of family in Birmingham.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
But well, I know you have to go.
I'm going to have to go, but again, I know you're going to keep on rolling right along, and hopefully we'll be rolling right along with you.
Yes. Thank you so much. Love you guys. Tell Doris I said hello.
Will do.
All right. Take care.
See you, Charlie.
Bye-bye.
Just let me know about when and where.
I'm like Michael Jackson. I'll be there.
No, you're not exactly like Michael Jackson.
Take care. So I'm not going to hold you guys in too much longer because I know you have things to do and I
got
have
a
things to
surprise
do.
for you though before you leave. Since
Okay.
we're
Okay.
doing stuff, let me see. You got to give me like, I'm old now, cross the 5-0 mark, so got to be careful. I can't just take off and run like I used to.
I know, right? I see that purple jacket looking good. My favorite color.
Oh yeah, we all had on purple. It probably was about maybe 80 to 100 brothers that came to the Capitol.
Oh, that's awesome.
And they were passionate. They're trying to pass this law in Alabama that if it's 2 or more on the side, on the corner standing, having on the same colors, that you're a gang.
Oh,
Stop it.
Yeah, it's definitely designed for both of us. I mean,
Right.
Are they trying to charge us on the RICO? Also?
yeah. So they got a state RICO thing they're working on. Okay, here's your surprise.
Hey, how are you?
Parlez-vous français?
Do you remember who I
Yeah, I do.
Right there.
am? And
Yeah.
did Gilda tell you that Kim is going to be a part of the concert that I'm hosting in Atlanta?
And that's awesome. I think she mentioned it. So, we kind of we roadies, so we'll probably over there as well.
Yeah, I'm sure y'all will be there. She said you were getting tickets.
Who's all these beautiful people I see on here? They're so happy.
Yes,
All of them millionaires like Arthur.
Yeah, all of them millionaires. Yeah, future millionaires.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, congratulations.
Yes, we'll claim that.
We received that. We
Okay,
received that.
We receive it all the way.
Well, if
Yes.
you see Kim before I do, tell her Uncle Bob to sign autographs for everybody.
I will. But I
Okay.
hope when I see her, I'll see you guys.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. Thank you. Say hello to Gilda for me.
Okay.
Thank you, Arthur.
Hey, no problem.
Yes. So I don't want to hold you guys too much longer because I know it's the end of the day and time is money.
Can I
And
ask you?
I just appreciate you guys being a part of the celebration of 3 years, and we're gonna keep pushing. And I may call on y'all to host the show in the near future in my absence, and I know you'll say yes.
Hey,
So thank you.
before we go, can I ask Dr. Lisa my question?
Yes.
Because it's very personal. How do you overcome the stigma and the taboo of mental health? And the reason it's personal, I had a mental breakdown at 18. I was in Chicago, also overachiever. I didn't have anybody to talk to. But when I came back to Cleveland since that time has represented love, LOVE. Nobody judged me. Nobody looked at me weird. Everybody just wanted me to get healthy. But I know that's not the experience of a lot of people. So how do you overcome that taboo? When we were growing up, anything mental health issue, we called it quote unquote family business, and nobody.
Right, exactly. I suggest in order to get through, as I share with my clients, in order to get through, you have to talk through. I am one to have a plethora of resources. Medication therapy is needed for some, but it's a Band-Aid. So you are the author of your own life, and your story, the narrative of your story can change at any time based on you. So you have to talk that thing through, talk it out to get through. As long as we sit on it, it stays there. For me, it was just surrounding myself with people that I knew cared. I tell people all the time, I am one of the many faces of mental health. Do not get it twisted. We cleaned up well, we present ourselves or whatever, but it was a whole lot of crazy stuff going on from generational and family dynamics. And so for me, it was important that I wasn't the crazy one, as you know, they were trying to label me, and she talking to herself. I wasn't talking to myself. I was talking to God about that mess. That crazy, that mess that I was born into. So for me, faith, my faith kept me saying that,
Yeah.
And so even for the work that I do, my clients do not know. I had someone the other day and say, is your business faith-based? I told her, come sit down and you'll find out, because you're going to leave and your homework will start with the Bible plan, because boys and girls, you've got to believe in something.
Mm.
The doctor cannot do it all by herself. So with that being said, faith, you've got to have a prayer life. You've got to have some warriors in your space, a support system, and you've got to not be afraid to be authentic with you. Tell your true story. See, as long as you're open, and when you look in that mirror, as long as you can start telling yourself the truth, you tell yourself, then guess what? You're going to be open to tell somebody else. But as long as you keep hiding and sitting behind those lies, lying to you, the lie is going to perpetuate. And then that's where you just stay and sit. So you've got to talk that thing out in order to walk it out.
I appreciate that. Great advice. And I hope the people who are listening, whether live or on a replay, will take that advice to heart. So I thank you. I appreciate you all.
Dr. Lisa, is it okay if I keep in contact with you?
Oh, yes, because it just dropped in my spirit when you said that about mental health. We're going to have to do some things. I'm trying to get a group of men now, because that's part of it in the Black community. The men won't step forward and say, hey, there's something wrong.
You got an ex-certified crazy person here on your staff now.
I'll share you all's number with each of you.
Thank you.
Yes. So again, thank you.
You're quite welcome, sister.
Thank you for being who you are.
Well, thank you for
part of my life
together, because there can only be one leader, because a two-headed animal is a freak.
Yes.
Lisa, I wanted to say this also, like you said, it's a stigma, and just be quiet in the Black community. But and that's the trickery of the devil.
Mm-hmm.
When you speak your truth,
yes,
and not be embarrassed by it, because that's who you have been, but you're not that now.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking, some chains are broken, and the devil know that. That's why he wants you to stay embarrassed.
Yes.
Stay in your mess.
Yes.
And that's what a lot of people do. They can't even tell you. You wonder sometimes, was it that life that bad for them?
That's right, Jennifer. That's right. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Speak it.
Yes.
And I promise you, it's so many people you will reach.
Yes.
They just want somebody to be that on that platform and speak it for them.
And I have, especially in the church community, because so many of us spend so much time there. And I was blessed. Miss Katie, shout out to Miss Katie. If she comes across YouTube, I'm gonna tell her to replay. She does great work in Pensacola, but she is so raw and true as a pastor. But she understands. I go with them. Faith without work is dead. I'm going to help you. Dr. Lisa going to help you put in the work. Yeah. We're not playing games here, because I'm true to mental health, not new to it. So we're going to have to do the work to get results. And as cousin just said, Jennifer said, once you realize in the spirit realm, that is what's keeping you so broken and bound. Oh, the freedom. I tell my story so other women can heal. You're not going to keep me bound. Don't talk to me about somebody's husband. Girl, that's who I used to be. Yes. We ain't talking about that no more. We doing some other stuff. I got my own husband, 27 years. You ain't heard that story? So, you got to go, and you have to move past that, and don't allow people to keep you stuck in that box either. Hello.
Now, Dr. Lisa, I thought that we could talk, but now since you talk to women, I'm not going to buy a wig and a dress. So I'm going to have to find somebody else to talk to, since you only talk to women. I thought we were cool, but
she's gonna contact you. She's gonna contact you and get you hooked up with the men's panel.
She's gonna make an exception for me.
Oh,
You
yes.
don't need no wig and no skirt. We ain't
Thank you, because I ain't that kind of
And
guy.
no red lipstick.
We not doing none of that.
I'm getting married on May 27th of this
Right.
year. My fiance would
Exactly.
not appreciate it.
Your wife would not appreciate your future wife would not appreciate that.
Absolutely not.
Yes, but you're going to be so great on the platform, collaborating to talk with me. And my husband has stepped into the arena now with me, and that's something we're working on. After 7 years, I've been doing this solo after leaving education. And we've done a couple of, he's starting now to join me with a couple sessions. And so that has been great work for him to be a man, to be able to share his experiences as well with other younger men and younger couples. So yes, Mr. Wendell, you're going to be needed.
I look forward to meeting. What city are you in?
I am in Mobile, Alabama.
All right, that's not that far away.
Yeah.
No.
Mm-hmm.
If I start walking now, I can meet you by next Tuesday.
Well, let's close out. And I just want to say thank you again for being here. Thank you for what you guys do in your own space. Keep being the light in this dark world. Keep being the light.
Yes.
And keep being your authentic self. No matter how many people like you, how many people support you, do your part. Because it's gonna make a difference in somebody's life.
Yeah.
So thank you. I love you guys.
Love you too.
Stay right there as I close out. Stay right there. Thank you all for joining us. Remember, I love you, but God loves you most. He loves you best. You guys have an amazing night, and stay tuned for the next show date.
In the next 30 years of Life with Shenita.
Thank you.
You got it.